That's the way they are. It's not good.
You need this pen?
Wait,
I don't need
is
that.
Jeff here to complain or what is it? Did we hire Jeff? I was like, did we hire Jeff March?
We oughta.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, world. I'd like to call the regular City Council meeting to order at 7 p.m. If everyone will please stand, join us for the pledge, and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
You may be seated. All right. Our first item is public comment, and as I understand, we don't have any. Is that correct? Okay, so we will pass on item number 3.
You're just amazing.
And we are at the consent agenda. Council wishing to pull items, please.
Nope, they're not allowed.
Can I pull all of them?
No, you can't.
Not so long. I'd like to pull items F, X, and Y. F, X, and Y.
F, X, and Y.
Okay. All right.
You want me to get the tomatoes to throw at them, Caesar?
Trista, go ahead and read the consent.
Yes, staff is also pulling item 4R to be addressed at a future meeting. So the items pulled from consent are 4F, 4R, 4X, 4Y. 4A is approving an ordinance on first reading with the caption reading an ordinance of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, amending the city's Code of Ordinances, Chapter 152, Subchapter B, roadway impact fees, assessment of impact fees to include provisions for newly annexed areas containing severability and repealer clauses and providing for an effective date. 4B, approving an ordinance on first reading with the caption reading an ordinance authorizing the lease of city property located at 101 East Pecan, Pflugerville, providing cumulative repealer and severability clauses, providing for open meeting and establishing an effective date. And again, items 4S, 4R, 4X, and 4Y have been removed. All items remaining may be acted upon in a single motion.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and second to approve the consent agenda. Okay, motion carried. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 5, public hearing. Conduct a public hearing regarding Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, CAPER, for program year 2023. Emily.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the kickoff to the public comment period for CDBG Program Year 23 CAPER, or Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. Council's familiar with this as our end-of-year report for CDBG program. It'll report our accomplishment and progress towards the goals that were established in the consolidated plan, which was adopted earlier this year. This is submitted to HUD annually at the end of every year and will be available for public review, and council action is requested in December before submittal to HUD. In 2023, it'll cover the accomplishments of the program, which cover Parkway Drive design was started. The contractor for the streetlight project was selected, and that's underway today as well. We also had youth and senior scholarships provided to 48 youth scholarships, and we had 6 residents receive Workforce Solutions for workforce training.
Awesome.
And then the total for program year, $130,600 was expended to support low to moderate income residents. Additional funding will be expended as we complete the design and the streetlight project. Our next steps are for December 2nd, our Planning and Zoning Commission, who serve as our advisory commission for CDBG, will see the CAPER and make formal recommendation to council, and this will be on the December agenda for and answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? I guess not.
Thank
Is
you,
there
Mayor.
anybody in the public wishing to make public comment on this item? Having none, need a motion to close.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to close the public hearing on item 5A. And motion carried. Thank you. Moving on to our regular agenda, item 6A, discuss and consider action to approve the appointment of Carolyn Perez as Communication Director. Terry.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight you consider the appointment of Carolyn Perez as our Communications Director. Her impressive background includes more than 15 years of experience working for state and city government positions, and those have equipped her to lead our communications team. It's my privilege to introduce you to Carolyn Perez.
Hello, Carolyn.
Good evening, Mayor Gonzalez, members of council. It's a pleasure to be here this evening.
Glad you're here.
Yes, I'm very excited to be, I'm honored to be taking on this role. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about my background or what brought me here.
Okay. Well, what did bring you here?
Well, as Terry said, I have more than 15 years of experience working primarily for state government, but I also had 10 years with the City of Austin in a communications role. And most recently, I served as Director of Communications for the Texas Permanent School Fund Corporation, which is a very large investment fund, endowment fund that funds our public schools. And unfortunately, because of restructuring, my position was being eliminated. So that led me to consider and think, I want to, I'm not anywhere near retirement, so I want to continue working in communications. And I thought back to my time at the City of Austin, and I really, really enjoyed doing communications work at the local level and getting to see projects come online and just see how impactful it is and how it enhances the quality of life was a lot of fun. So that's the reason I was very selective about where I applied, and I'm very eager to get back and be able to work closer with the community. In my previous role, I was a little detached from the people that we served. All the schools, never got to meet with them or anything. It was a little bit more abstract. So I'm very happy to get boots on the ground, and I was also very impressed with the communications work that the team is doing here, and thought, well, I want to be part of that. That looks like a great team and a great community. So that's what brought me here.
Well, we welcome you. I know that we have forged forward on a number of communication initiatives that are really kind of state-of-the-art and moving forward in a very phenomenal way, and we've been very proud of those changes and actually development. So you do have a role that is very important and critical to our community as well as to the city and to the city council.
Well,
So thank you.
You have my commitment. I'm going to just try to knock it out of the ballpark, and one of my passions is just making sure that public information is very accessible and reachable to people of all reading levels, all backgrounds. So that's something I did at TRS. We have 1.2, at the time, almost 2 million members. And I launched a plain language program.
Okay.
So
Great.
I'm going to work to make sure we're resonating with the people that we serve.
Wonderful.
What do you see as the greatest challenge coming into this position?
Telling the story of how we're creating value for the residents. And I think, I want to really hone in on what the council approved strategic plan, and is make sure that everything the communications team is doing is in support of that, and just it's under it and supporting it. But I think that just telling the story and making sure that people are aware of the projects that are going on, and telling the story of how we're effectively managing growth while maintaining the great quality of life that Pflugerville has.
It seems like we just heard from the Equity Commission. It seemed like messaging was one of the things that they stressed, just in terms of how to create enough awareness, make things go viral, whatever.
Right.
So that word, has ripples and continues throughout the community. Do you have any insight in terms of ways of getting people to see the information?
I think it boils down to the key, what are the key messages we want to be putting out there, and repeat in many different ways so that people see them in different formats. There's not really it's got to be like a toolkit.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ms. Perez, could you tell me what's your favorite thing about Pflugerville?
The trails. Yes. I'm a neighbor of Pflugerville. I live just a few miles from here, but I'm just inside Austin city limits. But I'm very interested in getting to know the trail system better, and just some of the amenities, the farmers market, the downtown area. I'm just in love with the community. And even though I'm a neighbor and I don't technically live in it, I'm adjacent. But I'm very excited to get out and explore and just learn everything it has to offer. But for now, I can tell you I'm a walker, so the trails are sold on that.
That's great. I'm glad to hear your passion.
So you graduated from a very, very fine and wonderful institution.
Yes.
Some may call it the greatest institution.
Some may.
I was interested because you spoke about the different skill sets and necessity when applying a message, and it has to go on various different platforms or so.
Right.
Which got me thinking about generative AI and its usage and its tools. How do you see that as an asset or a hindrance in what you're going to be doing in your role right now?
Well, I treat AI in my previous position as my unpaid intern that researches things for me. It's really good at research. I don't think that it can take the place of the human touch and the messaging, because only someone that lives and works here will know what's going to resonate with the residents here. But I think it's great for staying ahead of what's going on, and for research purposes. It can do things a lot quicker than going on website after website trying to look for information.
And it's kind of like a Alexa a little bit. You just have to understand how to ask the questions.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
It's the prompts.
Yes, but I don't think it's to the point yet where it takes the place of a human voice and something that makes sense for the context and for the community.
That sounds like a very intelligent Longhorn-based response.
Thank you.
You weren't wearing orange, so that's okay.
And I have a son that's a Longhorn also, so we're continuing the tradition.
Good Americans. Just
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you again.
I move to approve the appointment.
second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the appointment. Don't let the fact that
I'm
she's
offline
a
somehow.
Longhorn.
Oh, there I am. I'm back online.
Do you remember in a pandemic, like David would always show up at meetings like 30 minutes later?
Motion carried. All right. So, moving on to 6B, discuss and consider action to approve a construction contract with McKee Utility Contractors, LLC, in the amount of $21,343,000 associated with the Wilbarger Wastewater Interceptor Project, and authorize the city manager to execute the same. And Mr. Dunsworth, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Council. Spreeling for the record, Jeff Dunsworth, Assistant Director of your dedicated and diligent Utility Engineering Department. We're bringing to you yet another project. This is the Wilbarger Wastewater Interceptor. It's a large diameter project, a large diameter pipe project in our Wilbarger Basin. It's one of the key elements for the commissioning and startup of the new Wilbarger wastewater plant. I think many of you attended that groundbreaking earlier this year, 6 million gallon per day plant. This is going to decrease our reliability on lift stations. It's going to be an environmental as well as an economy, impact the economy into the our east basin. It's using some newer technology, new-ish technology. It's using a fiberglass reinforced pipe. We refer to that as reinforced polymer mortar pipe. It's somewhat new. It's I guess it became prominent in Texas in the big hairband era of the 80s. And then we're also using steel reinforced polymer concrete manholes. It's a new and unique project, or new and unique product. It's an extended life cycle far beyond concrete. Decreases the requirement of us having to bypass pump on a future date, and then refurbish, reclean, reseal manholes. Bids were received, reviewed by staff. It was determined that McKee was the most qualified contractor. This project actually came in $3 million below the engineer's opinion of probable cost. Contract time is a little under 2 years. This supports the infrastructure pillar of the council's, sorry, lost my notes here, council strategic plan. Staff recommends award to McKee Utility Contractors in the amount of $21,343,000. I'm available to answer any questions you might have, as well as our consultant, and I believe our contractor is here also.
Okay. Council, questions?
Mr. Dunsworth, just one question for you. The anticipated completion date, will that be contemporaneous with the completion of the wastewater treatment facility?
Yes, we are trying to make sure those are timed up properly, that this interceptor as well as Sorrento interceptor will be completed a few months prior to the Wilbarger wastewater treatment facility. So we have ample water for conveyance and also for startup and testing.
All right, I guess I was dishonest. Not just one question. Second question, will there also be flows in this system immediately upon completion? Looks like we'll be pulling from the Carmel
Yes,
neighborhood.
We will have flows in the pipe immediately.
Okay.
So it was like quite literally, as we saw with Councilmember McDonald, helping to clean up the Carmel lift station last time. He's all too aware of that. Jeff, I only have one thing on this that I'm curious about, going to what Doug was just talking about here. What issues could sideline this for its availability? Because we know the necessity. I mean, seeing lift stations, and you guys, the best thing y'all ever did was take us out there, because now we're like, we'll never do a lift station again. And seeing, and just seeing how the issues that come with that. What do you see could be hindrances that may not allow for us to make that September 2026 date?
As they say in construction, it's the weather. Okay. It's the weather, and it could be the weather. Should we experience rain delays, inclement winter or inclement conditions through the winter that might impact the contractor? It's pipe and the pipe material and the manholes. They're both available local-ish. One's in Houston. The pipe is manufactured in Houston. The manholes are manufactured in south of Fort Worth.
Okay.
So they're available locally, and so we don't see any delay as far as material delivery.
So on the material, you guys have talked to the suppliers, I would imagine, or the contractor.
Yes.
So they are forecasting a certain availability of that material.
Correct, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
That was pretty easy.
Now I'm going to vote this down.
All right.
Motion to approve 6B as presented.
Have a motion and a second to approve item 6B. Motion carried. Thank you. Now to a fun item.
I cannot wait to see the
Discuss-
debate on this. Because if you know anything about us, we debate our logos on this council.
Yeah.
So discuss and consider action to approve a resolution approving a logo for downtown Pflugerville. Well, it's got to be something that doesn't fall along the lines of where quality meets life.
Oh, no.
Because we've already been told that's boring.
We were told that was boring. Who said that
And
to us?
if Rick Gibson, if you're watching, I'm addressing you.
I guess we know.
Mayor
it
doesn't hold
was now.
grudges.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Brianna Higgins, Special Projects Manager for the City Manager's Office, and I'm here tonight to discuss with you a logo for downtown. But I'm going to start us off not showing you a logo. I'd like to talk about downtown for a little bit. I want to take you through downtown. Every image you see on this screen comes from our downtown. None of this is from a random AI generated website. It's not from Google. These are all images that have occurred in our downtown, and I'm going to say the word downtown more times than I wish tonight. Just bear with me. But when you walk through our main street, you will see so many smiling faces. When you look around, you see greenery. You hear the trees if it's a quiet evening. Maybe you smell the smoke of barbecue if you're there at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday or Wednesday, late for some reason. If you're at an event like Slice of Pflugerville or Coffee and Fuel, you'll see dogs and their owners. Even if you're there on a random Saturday or Sunday morning, you'll see the running club join together at West Pecan. They'll go for a run, and then you'll see them sit together and break bread. You'll also notice, I mentioned the dogs. You'll see on this image a dog at Coffee and Fuel, but also a young gentleman with his dog at Festival of Lights. You also see kids of all ages, both young and maybe just a little bit more mature, enjoying music. To maybe it's their favorite band, Slipknot or Tony Bennett. Whatever that may be that brings them joy, brings serendipity to their life. Downtown is a colorful, lively, bright place to be. You'll see some wildflowers on the screen. Those wildflowers come from the Pfluger Tract. You'll see our trails, historic buildings. It's a place where history meets the modern age. And so when we imagine downtown and what that is and what it will be in the future, we want to make sure that we capture the vision appropriately. It's a welcoming, thriving destination for residents, visitors, and businesses. It's where history meets a blossoming future. It's rich in natural beauty, Texan charm, and a spirit of growth. So why am I coming here today to talk about a logo? We want a logo that symbolizes community and connection. As downtown grows and changes, we want to make sure that we keep that history of our core heartbeat of the city while connecting to that future growth. We want to make sure that we're emphasizing our welcoming spirit. We talked earlier today about the listening sessions that occurred, and we heard a welcoming community, a diverse community. We see that represented in our downtown, especially our downtown events. As we move forward with the Downtown East project, we think about making sure that our downtown is unified. We don't want it to be old versus new. It's just downtown. And so we imagine together what a logo could be that unifies all of downtown. So now I get to the exciting part, the part you wanted to see. Tonight you'll see a couple options for a downtown logo. Our goal is that we select a logo that can be revealed at the Downtown East project groundbreaking. And so I'm going to dive in and show you our first one. This is our first logo option. You'll see that there's different elements within this logo. It has the colorful nature of downtown, the greens, the blues, the reds of the flowers. You'll see that it has the historic water tower, which can be seen nearly any spot in downtown Pflugerville. You'll see that it has more modern building as well as our historic building.
Bless you.
I'm going to jump to the next slide so you can kind of see some of the mock-ups of what that might look like on some t-shirts and signage and flags.
I don't see the tattoos.
Didn't get a tattoo.
Coming soon. So I'm going to take you back to those images of downtown. And now I'm going to take you to the logo. So you can kind of see some different options there, those elements within the logo. We have a second option. Within the letters of this logo, you'll see that the imagery of the flowers are embedded within the P, the F, the L, the U, and the G, the E and the R. The V indicates imagery of people. The I has paw prints for the animal-friendly downtown. The L's and the E represent growth and entertainment, with the same color palette of those downtown flowers. Some imagery of what a mock-up could look like. Back to our downtown images and the logo in place. And here are both logos side by side.
I'm taking it all in.
I think the first one's what I would expect, and then the second one's what I find interesting.
That the melding of the P and the F is.
Yeah, that's like you see that. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, especially the burnt orange one. That's amazing. But
No, is that burnt orange or?
It's more of a, it comes from the
You go
Gaillardia
with it,
flower.
yeah,
as
let's
well.
let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy here. Okay? The Tennessee one.
I like the first one, and I think I was really sold on like the street signs. If you want to go back to that one, and it has a really, it feels very, it has a German feel to it. The color palette feels good. I just really like that one visually. The other one looks more like a t-shirt for me, but this looks really good. I could see these definitely hanging around the city. Feels really good.
I guess maybe that's what part of the reason why I'm like I said, the first one's what I expect,
Yeah.
and the second one I find interesting. Because
Why is the E cut off?
It's not. It's just the font.
yeah,
That's
It's just
fine.
the color.
The small cup, the small cap.
because I didn't expect the
Yeah, let me-
I don't know how to.
It does.
The colorization,
Yeah.
like I think what really I like about the second one are the P and the F, because
It's different.
that is way different, and I'm like, oh, that works. Yeah, that was like that works.
Yeah, that's actually probably my least favorite. Unfortunately, the integrated P and F just doesn't feel like traditional Pflugerville to me. I mean, we've got our PF. It's pretty. It's a noticeable combination of letters. It's a good ligature. So putting those together, I'm not as excited. The first logo, I will tell you, when I first saw it, I thought it was a bit busy.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there. There are only 4 colors though, so it does settle.
It's more busy on the bottom though, right?
But it is more busy on the bottom, and I like that there's the option down there. You've got the one
Take the
option
bottom
where
off.
we trim off the bottom. I could see that. I think of those signs along the road where we've got, hey, the neighborhoods or the home builders or whatever, and we've got the half circle at the top, and I think that works real well. Although that,
You
I
could
mean,
use
this is for
both.
downtown, but something along those lines. It could be part of wayfinding, and then the full circle as part of the street banners.
Yeah, I think the first one looks like there's more investment in our community versus the second one.
It just looks. I could see, but that's the thing. What do we want to talk about with downtown, right? Because is it supposed to look different than the rest of the city? Like I'm like I can see that anywhere. Like the first one, like I can easily see that. Okay,
Yeah.
that on our banners and everything else over there as well. That's different. I don't know if I would. The font. I mean, kind of reminds me of Sesame Street a little bit, to be honest with you.
I would
But-
tell you, I
but
wouldn't
I like
mind a
it.
slightly
It's
different font. There was a different font option, but I would advise against that one.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if do you have the other font option available? We may see it. But what I will say, and I want to, I'm going to channel David here for a minute, because the one on the right could be anyone. You could use that style for anything. But the one on the left is no one but Pflugerville.
Interesting.
Looks too.
That is more interesting.
Looks a little elvish.
Wait. No one but Pflugerville?
I mean, look, we got our water tower, we got our historic
Dude,
building.
I'll take you to see Keller Indian games. We got that same water tower.
Yeah, that could be Round Rock.
But when you
Yeah.
put it all together with the largest pecan in Travis County,
I mean,
Yeah.
Unique.
I think there needs to be a PF on the water tower.
yeah.
We need-
Maybe that. Yeah.
It's too busy. There's just,
I think that adds busy.
I like that.
It is very busy.
I like
the top half.
the font on the right, but there's just too much going on there. If you've ever, I'm sorry,
I
Mr.
think
Rogers.
that's what I like the busyness of it. And then the one that, if you could go back to the one that just had, yes, the downtown PF with the text, I could see that on the street signs specifically for downtown.
I think it's a very clean.
Oh, different than the other street
Yes,
signs
different
that
than
have
other street signs.
the travel
That
sticker.
is
That would
very
help
attractive
delimit
for that.
downtown. That's an awesome.
And I'd
idea.
really like the instead of the dot, the Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
On the logo on the left in the full version of it, why did you go with the starfish above downtown? What? Or the star?
What did he say?
What's the thought of having a star there? There's any connotation behind that, or just needed something put in
We
space?
felt it was more visually appealing than putting the Texas state there.
I mean, you could put like a goat there or something. You know?
No way. So I think that,
God bless you.
my impression of the first one is, like, if anybody's ever read Richard Scarry books, does that ring a bell?
Oh my God! Of course.
And they're so busy. It's like you want to look at it and look at it again because you know you've missed something. So
Right.
I think it's kind of the type of, did I miss anything here? People, and especially kids,
Yeah.
love looking at things that, and I probably am missing something, but I'm not sure what it is.
It reminds me of those books those coloring books for adults.
We just
Where you
said
color in your own
that.
stuff. Yeah.
We just said it.
They
It's
just-
definitely
Yeah, I
a
could totally
coloring
trace
item.
that thing and waste it out.
So Brianna, tell me a little bit about the buildings in the first one. Like at first, I was like, "Are you trying to make it?" That's
Yeah, what are
that's
the-
literally the first thing I thought. I was like,
I like the Alamo.
It has
I was like,
Alamo.
What are we doing?
It wasn't the Alamo.
But it's
That's
not the element.
No, it's the bank.
That's our
It's the
historic
bank
building on the
building.
corner.
Yep.
That's
so
Railroad
you'll
and
see
Main.
this building here is reflected of our historic
Yeah.
building here.
Oh.
This building here is reflected of the Downtown East project.
So it's old and new.
Well, then if we're gonna do old and new, why would we do the old water tower and the new water tower?
Because there's no roof
Yeah, new
for it.
water
It's already
tower.
busy enough.
If there was only a city manager who wasn't in charge of seeing what these water towers are gonna look like.
Yeah, Rick Thompson.
Well, we paid all that money for the lights to go on the new water tower. No, it's the old one. The old one. Yeah, we did on the old one.
So Brianna, you gave us some good insight into those icons and what they represent. Are there any others besides the water tower, the large pecan tree, and I assume that's what it is? Is there anything else that's emblematic of things?
You'll see within the details, you'll see some wildlife, some birds within the details, as well as some music notes to indicate some entertainment.
See, I missed the music notes, but it's kind of
Oh,
far
I
away.
just see the dogs.
I saw
How come the
dogs.
dog? How come there's a
Dogs
dog and
here.
there's not a cat?
We hate cats.
Cats don't walk
And you
on
know what? And
leashes.
I own dogs.
So the
water,
little,
Hey, music notes.
is that like a street, a road,
That's
or
the trail.
a trail?
So it's kind of twofold. It could be a trail. It could
Okay.
also be Main Street.
Okay.
And then to the right of it kind of indicates Gillen Creek, which will flow through.
Yeah, I like that.
I think you want to say have it as a trail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we're the trail
Yeah.
capital.
I was thinking that, but
Yeah.
how do you make it look like a trail? I mean,
Take the line, the dash lines off of it.
Put flowers on the side of it.
maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is
Because
a
you
very
know,
good
'cause,
point.
like
Trail, it's got to be not straight.
yeah. Ah,
Curve it a little bit.
interesting.
But it's
I don't
sending
know
you
if there's
into
room to- I
Pflugerville.
don't know if there's room to
Yeah,
curve it. I like the
straight into
idea, but I think we're
I
limited
like
on
the symmetry.
space.
All right,
Which is not
Victor's
actual
convinced me
symmetry,
now.
but
Okay.
it's quasi-symmetry.
I like this first one.
Yeah, I think Victor.
I like the first one.
He's right. it's something you discover. I still you need to figure out sometime, some way to how to use that PNF somewhere in some future.
I don't like the font of that.
But
PNF.
yeah, but I don't know what you're gonna do. What did you?
Right
what
there
did
with
the
the
other
PNF
font
and
look
the
Well, wait,
Texas.
no,
the
she
other
showed it to
font
us.
looks
The-
like-
Oh no,
it looks like
right
Elvish.
the right
Right
side.
side?
The right
Yeah, I
side.
don't-
Font.
There was no difference.
No, I don't remember there being another font there. It was just the other
Okay.
font on the
Yeah, I didn't
on the,
like it.
circle logo.
Cool.
Which you want to see that again?
Go
or-
back.
No,
Let's go back to the Elvish.
no.
The
I like the Elvish one better.
The Elvish.
No, dude. What kind of
no.
weird? No. Stop.
No.
Stop.
I'm wondering how.
I mean,
easy
I
that
like the LU ligature.
No,
and
take that
the
away from my.
RV ligature.
So I think our new communications director is probably having second thoughts here.
I think David did bring up a point that it's a trail. It'd be
Yeah.
swervy. I think that was interesting because that
Yeah.
does look like a road.
But I don't know if there's
Yeah,
enough room
definitely.
actually.
I don't
It's
think- I don't think
definitely
there
Main
is.
Street. There's no question about it.
I mean,
That's Main
But
Street.
this is the downtown logo, so I think
Yeah.
Main Street makes
Yeah,
more
yeah.
sense than a trail
Yeah,
here.
you're right.
What's the short one we're going to be using? I know that Kim said the PF, but on shirts, what are we gonna?
That's a lot on my shirt.
Yeah, that's a lot
I
on
don't
the shirt.
want that on my shirt.
I like if I had I wear pocket
Half.
t-shirts. I'd like.
Way too
I
much.
honestly would like the PF.
Looks like a
Star
way
something
too
that's
yoga
legit.
t-shirt. Looks
There
pretty
are
cool.
many shirt opportunities and sticker opportunities.
sure.
So
Mm-hmm.
whatever direction you go, we can
We just
create.
want to make sure the swag comes right.
I mean,
okay?
we like our swag.
Mayor, you ready for a motion,
That's
sir?
city manager.
Yeah.
Motion to approve option 1.
Second, third.
Yeah.
And Trista, I messed up my screen here.
Don't let David put the other kind
Other
of
font.
Yeah, the other font in there.
No friendly amendments?
I don't know which
No friendly font amendments.
Yeah.
need to go to
And he'll vote against it still.
That's the one I want. Nah, I'm good.
Brutal.
I'm good.
Make it better, but not good enough.
We're laughing because it's funny because it's true.
Because it's true.
Who was the second on that?
Rudy.
Rudy.
I forgot myself. It's getting late, man. It's 7:30.
Okay.
I know it's dark out.
All right, Grandpa.
So weird.
Motion carried, less Mr. Ray.
You did not. You did.
You wanted the trail.
You're so sorry.
It's weird. Like the guys who know
That's
something about
democracy.
fonts and graphics. I don't like it.
Thank goodness it was only a logo. All right,
Not
moving
the
on
budget.
to our executive session items. Let me open up
Yeah, we need 60.
6E, yeah. So 6E was executive session to discuss filing a suit against Arch Insurance Company and 123 Builders Company. And we had that discussion and made a decision.
Motion.
Open session and we need a motion.
I moved
Motion to
to
approve the filing of the suit.
Then Doug second. There we go.
Second.
We got it.
Motion and a second to approve the lawsuit.
I see someone in the audience already making notes on it.
Motion carried.
We did not need action
All
on
right.
6F.
Item 7, discuss
Let
items
me verify,
pulled.
but I don't think so.
What?
I don't.
Yeah,
No,
we
we
don't
do
need
not.
action on
Not
that.
yet.
Perfect.
Take it, not yet.
All right.
Not yet.
Okay.
Doug's like.
Okay.
You got a
First
lot earlier than I expected.
item pulled from consent will be item 4F. Approving a construction contract with G2 Construction Services, Inc. in the amount of $540,000 for Lake Pflugerville spillway repairs and authorizing the city manager to execute the same.
So David, why do you hate Lake Pflugerville?
I want to know what the spillway repairs are and why do we need them?
Separation of the
Could ask that
cement.
question before this.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the spillway repairs that are being proposed here are, so this concrete spillway is the middle piece that you see when you drive by, not the dam itself. So over time, as just like any other concrete work, you've got separation. There's expansion joints in that concrete that need to be checked and see if you need to re-inject those with an expanding joint. as well as there's some spalling of the concrete surface a little bit, which is normal for any concrete surface, especially when it's been in service for 20 years without any kind of like large scale maintenance activity.
It's been 20 years.
It's been 20 years, 20 years in service. And so this contract involves replacing those expansion joints in between the concrete pieces of that spillway, as well as repairing the concrete spalling that you can kind of see if you're walking up and down it, as well as crack repair. That's incredibly common for any concrete structure for expansion that does occur.
So that doesn't affect the integrity of the dam?
No, sir. If we let it go for another maybe 20, 30 years, those cracks, of course, keep expanding. We want to make sure to head those off before they become a problem. So,
Brandon, could you tell me when's the expected start date of this project?
So it will more than likely, we had went back and forth if we could get something started before the holidays, but we're trying to probably look at first of the calendar year.
All right. I noticed the lake's down about 2.5 feet. Is it because of this project or other purposes?
No, we had this is a long drawn out story, but I'll do my best to make it sufficient. So we had a river pump that was down, and we had multiple false starts on the second river pump that was down for repairs. So we had it reconditioned as part of last fiscal year. And it took a little while to get it back in service than we wanted to. So that kind of let the lake go down based upon water demand usage. There wasn't a concern about whether or not we were going to be able to keep up with demand because we knew the pump was just a week away from being reinstalled, which would keep up with demand and overtake and bring the level back to normal.
So do we have a warranty with G2 in the event?
Yes, sir.
Something goes awry?
With any public project of over a certain amount, which this would qualify, there's a warranty bond or a bond that comes with that. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Move to approve 4F.
Second.
Motion and second to approve 4F. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Motion carried.
Next item is 4X, approving a resolution committing the use of up to $8 million from Reinvestment Zone Number 1 for the purpose of funding a multi-level public parking structure for the Downtown East project, repealing all resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict herewith, providing a severability clause, providing a savings clause, finding and determining that the meeting at which the resolution is passed is open to the public as required by law, and providing an effective date.
Is there a specific question?
So I want to know why we're taking the $8 million from the TERS, and what is it specifically about TERS funding that makes this an appropriate use of TERS funding?
Sure. In 2022, when the TERS was expanded, it was in the buckets for the TERS were intended for city facilities and supportive things like parking structures. As we've worked on the Downtown East project and we've realized some savings in the infrastructure costs and interest dollars, there's a balance left in order to be able to deliver a parking structure, which costs a total of around approximately $16 million. There's some other savings that we could see over time. The TERS, though, is an appropriate use as allocated through those TERS amendments that were done about 2 years ago in order to support city facilities without other types of funding. This funding was intended for city facilities as approved by the TERS board as well as city council. We anticipate that it could be anywhere between $1 and $8 million of TERS dollars for a parking structure for Downtown East, which would eliminate the need for 2 surface parking lots that were initially planned for phase 1, approximately a little over $2 million in savings there, as well as any throwaway costs that we would have seen for a surface parking lot, and also offers us the opportunity to really create that location for central parking up front, right next to City Hall, as well as the Recreation Center, because it was an approved use within the TERS plan. We feel like this was a good use of those dollars as we start to negotiate the potential for a parking structure. We wanted to ensure that through that conversation with Griffin Swinnerton as our master developer, that we would be able to fund that facility as we move forward versus doing the surface parking lot that was a temporary solution for phase 1.
Can you remind me what the statutory purpose is for TERS?
the TERS generally, and Charlie can help me chime in, was established many years ago and statutorily for blighted or redevelopment areas, which we're trying to do for downtown.
Is this a blighted area?
Those findings were made with the Falcon Point TERS initially, and that was established again with that adopted amendment in 2022.
Is
For this
downtown east
expansion.
a blighted area?
It's considered as a whole for meeting those statutory requirements as adopted by council.
That's probably more blighted than the Falcon Point area.
At the time, and ready for development at the time in which it was established. And so that allowed for those opportunities for expansion of the TERS in order to deliver important infrastructure for the city.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And earlier you said 108 million. It's 108,000.
No.
Correct?
I'm sorry, this is, it's 8
We're not on,
million.
we're not on 4R, we're on 4X.
4X, 8 million.
8 million.
Yeah,
Sorry.
for RGOT, pulled for next.
That's why I was wondering, I'm like, am I following this right?
Yeah.
I don't have any more questions.
Sorry, I apologize,
Yeah, put
everybody.
that for next meeting.
I apologize, David.
Motion to approve 4X.
Second.
I wonder how this is going to go.
Motion carried.
Next item 4Y, approving a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute all stormwater infrastructure maintenance and license agreements.
My question is, why all stormwater infrastructure maintenance and license agreements? Seems like that's overly broad.
Fair.
Great question. So what you've got in the packet is simply the authority to approve all stormwater maintenance agreements that meet the standard and no deviation to the agreement as presented. So if anything were to be changed outside of what's in the packet, it would come before you all. I think it's also important to note that anytime there's a development that's moving forward that has one of these, you've all seen that and approved it through a development process, or it's outright allowed. So this is just really, it's about removing some of the bureaucracy. This agreement's already been vetted and through the process, and just gives the city the ability to go inspect that pond if there's a reason to.
And what, is there an expenditure limit associated with this?
I'd have to go back and I don't believe that there's any expenditure related to this. This is just an agreement between the city and the developer. Robin, who heads up our development engineering, was supposed to be here tonight. She had a family emergency, is not able to be here, but this is a very standard process. Just gives the city the ability to go in and make sure that there's not an illicit discharge or something like that happening, something that would be related to public health and safety.
Okay. Would there be, assuming we approve this, would there be a situation where as such a maintenance and license agreement would obligate the city to spend more than $50,000?
No additional budget authority.
Okay.
As I understand this agreement, or standard agreement, it does give us the opportunity to expend funds to correct situations, but we can then recover that funds from the development.
It does, but
we have enforcement capabilities, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Any expenditure would come back to city council.
That's
pursuant
the
to any, well, if it was required to come through any policy you've adopted for purpose of expenditures. So we still have to follow that process.
It does not.
I'm not sure that that's would be true because the specific requests, the specific controls over the general. We have a general policy. We have a specific exception here.
This doesn't give any exception. This agreement, neither does this resolution, give any exception to the procurement requirements of the city.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Charlie.
Consequently, what he's saying is true.
I can't spend.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would also assume that then having this resolution in place kind of encourages developers to accept the standard template instead of negotiating their own, which would then take them through quite a bit of bureaucracy. So it sounds like we've got an agreement that we like, that works, and we want to free up the developers to go ahead and accept it without having to come here and sweat while we vote.
I love how you couched it as them worrying about the bureaucracy.
We do. We do.
Yeah, it's pre-vetted and it allows us to get out of their way faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about them
The
worrying about it as
developers.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead. I think we even.
I'll move approval.
Yeah, second.
$7.50. I know.
Motion carried.
Rudy said we were going late.
That's it?
Yeah. Time to go to bed.
Ladies and gentlemen. We're adjourned.